Welcome everybody to the West Midlands RTC GarageBand webinar. Today is going to be hosted by the fabulous Miss G from Mere Green. She is a music specialist. You don't have to be a music specialist to appreciate GarageBand, but Miss G is just so passionate about music that she's definitely the best person to try and inspire you. GarageBand tends to be an app that people are really nervous about, and it's one of those topics that I think as teachers we kind of shy away from sometimes, but it's a really versatile app, and I'm really looking forward to what Miss G has to share. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and allow Miss G to share hers. There we go. And Miss G, it's over to you.
Hello, thank you. Thank you, Terry. Thank you for this introduction. It's very kind of you. So here we are. For more information about training courses, I'm going to give you a bit of information at the end. But my name is Annie. Please feel free to ask any questions in the chat, and Terry kindly agreed to ask me as we go. I'm an Apple teacher and I have bachelor's degree in popular music. I also have a PGC secondary in music with QTS, and I have graduated with a master's in education. This is just a little bit about my experience. Today we're going to cover GarageBand basics, and I'm going to throw some curriculum links that you can use regardless if you're a music specialist or not. In the end, I'm sure that Terry is going to give us all a possibility to connect and discuss different topics and what we have learned from GarageBand, and she's going to present a little bit about the Apple Teacher Learning Center. Here we are. So GarageBand, this is the icon you're going to see on your iPad. I like to say that it's like a sunset or sunrise with a nice rock guitar. So I'm just going to click on it. Before we start, I just want to let you know that GarageBand files tend to be quite big. So to make it easiest for yourself, I'm going to show you how to save them safely to your cloud if you have this kind of option set on your iPad. So I'm just going to search for the GarageBand in the search bar in my settings. Select GarageBand. And here we are when it says documents and storage. Currently, I'm saving on my iCloud, on my iPad. The best option for anybody that is often using GarageBand would be to save to their cloud, or you have other storage options such as Google Drive and Box. So if you're using GarageBand, please don't shy away from the files. They're quite big, but it's a fun option to learn music and just experiment, really. When I started using GarageBand, for me it was the opposite shock, because I'm used of using much more complicated musical programs, and then when I found GarageBand, it was an eye-opener, and I really enjoy using it because everything is quite straightforward. If you think that something is the right option, is the easiest pathway, it usually is. So the first thing we're going to use today is I'm going to show you how to record voice, and for these purposes we're going to use the plus sign on the right hand side top corner. Just click on it and it's going to create a new track. You have two options here: the live loops, which we're going to look into a bit later, or the track view, which gives you the different instruments with their sub options. We're going to find the microphone option to start off with, and once we do we're going to click on the voice option. Click on it, and here we come to the voice option record screen. You can select different options by clicking on the microphone itself, which takes us to another menu with different preset settings. If you have reluctant readers, this is a perfect option to use with them, because they can record themselves and really track their progress over time. It's something that I've seen done beautifully in early years and further along in our school. So you can click on the narrator option, and it comes with the presets. So you have the compressor preset, the resonance set already for you. If you are in a noisy environment, which we all know that most of the times we are in our classrooms, we can click on in sign here and select the noise gate. By activating the noise gate, we're going to have the reduction of the input noise, the background noise that comes with the voice. So it's quite a nice option if you're recording readers in the classroom or even yourself. Here we go. I'm going to show you how to record yourself, and we're going to use the top menu. So if you click on the red button, that will give you the record options. But before we start, we're just going to track along, and we're going to see that we have just 8 bars, 8 measures. And usually we're recording longer things when we're recording our voice. So by clicking the plus sign after the 8, I'm just going to indicate it for you here. By clicking this plus sign, we can expand the quantity of bars that we have. We're going to select again the 8 bars option. And by clicking on the plus arrow, we can add up as many bars as we like, or just select automatic, which will add automatic amount of bars. I'm just going to say select 14 bars or 12 bars. Okay, and as you can see now, the bars are added up to the recording. Before we start recording ourselves, something that's quite often happens is the metronome sign, is this blue icon here, right next to the volume. I'm gonna unclick it, and then I can click on the recording, oh, sorry, just gonna start from the beginning, click on it, and I can record my voice. While we in Zoom, unfortunately, the microphone setting doesn't pick up my voice, but if you want to try this, it will definitely record your voice. And once you're happy with this, you can click on the stop, the square, and then you'll be able to see the recording you've done. From the left-hand side corner, we have, from the left-hand side corner, you have the little piece of paper, the 3 squares, and another icon, which I call track view. Once you click on the track view, you can see what you have just recorded, which for me, unfortunately, is an empty track because I wasn't able to record it due to being on the Zoom call. But you should be able to see yourself and hear back by clicking the plus sign what you have just recorded. We're gonna click back. This is pretty much it. It's quite self-explanatory voice recording setting, and you can explore so much more with it by using the presets. But we're not gonna go into too much detail. Okay, I just click back on the piece of paper that has a folded corner to get me back to the GarageBand view with all my other files. And we're going to go into auditions and add loops, which is something that I have recently started using with all my Key Stage 2 students in school, and we had so much fun exploring Latin music this week. It's been a great fun and very, very summary. So it's something that I'm really looking forward to when it comes to Monday and we can create music together. And I'm sure you will be in the same boat once you feel super confident, or even just a little bit confident with GarageBand, because the best thing about technology that I found through learning technology and music composition is that the children are well ahead of the game and they are absolutely fearless, which something as adults we can learn from. So we're going to start a new track by clicking again on the plus sign on the right hand side top corner. And we are going to go into the keyboard this time. We're going to select the keyboards by just tapping on the keyboard. And here we go. We have created a keyboard track. We're not going to use it. We're just going to use it as a starting point. We're going to use the loop library that's automatically loaded with different loops from the Apple. So we have the plus sign here, which explains the function of each bit. We're not going to use it. The settings, that's a bit more more complex settings, which we're not going to use right now. And the third one is where we get the Apple loops. They're preloaded with lots and lots of different instrumental genres. here. You can select a different one. So for example, we've been doing Latin, which is under world music. And as you can see, there's African music, Brazilian music, Cuban, Indian music, and I've been using the Latin preset. Once you click on these loops, you can listen to them. Unfortunately, I can't hear them, but I'm sure you enjoy a bit of Latin vibes. Great starting point, just looking into the bongos or congas or guro and showing the children the pictures of the instruments which they enjoy learning about. I'm just gonna get the Latin danza drum set one. I'm just gonna drag it. Make sure not to drag it into the track that we created, the keyboard track, because it won't go there. It needs to be on its own space. And here we go. The Latin Day Bongos 05 is there for us. We can listen back to it by clicking the triangle, the play. Nice. We're going to add a bit of more of texture. So we're going to add a bit more sounds. We did, let's just go for Latin Day Conga. So we can drag it into our track. It creates automatically underneath. The funny thing about this, or not funny, but very useful thing about it, is that it comes with the icon of the actual instrument. So something that we can point out to the children. It gets them familiar with the way that the instruments look if we don't have them in our classroom. And then we can use a little bit of percussion. Who doesn't use a little bit of percussion? And by clicking back and pressing start, you can hear a combination of super cool Latin vibes. I'm gonna stop it because if I play the music while I talk, you won't be able to hear me. Now, by clicking on the different tracks, we select the track and we can manipulate it. I will come out of the window by clicking on the track view again on the top right-hand side, left-hand side corner, sorry, the third one. And here I can see all the instrument loops that are added together. So by clicking on them, I can drag them and I can manipulate them by making them shorter and adjusting the starting point of them, hence to create texture. I'm gonna make this a little bit shorter as well, and I can add it here. And here we go. We can start just with the Latin Day Bongo, and then at bar 4, it's gonna hit us with the Latin Day Conga 3 and the Latin 5. Okay. Once I'm very happy with my track, which I'm just ecstatic about it, I'm going to click on the sheet of paper. That's the first on the left-hand side corner, and GarageBand does the magic and saves the track automatically for us, which is very, very useful because we don't have to worry about it. You can see when you open this window, when the track is being created, the size of it, and it comes with number, the number of the track, which can change, but we're going to come back to this at the very end. Okay. The next thing I said we're going to do is we're going to audition drummers, and who doesn't like auditioning people and feeling very, very important and glamorous? Is the best part of the really teaching music auditions. So we're going to go into the right hand side top corner and click on the plus, and then we're going to go to the function called drummers. Okay, so I like this function, it's real fun. Click on it and we get pictures of the different drummers alongside with their name. Currently I have Morris. He looks like a good drummer. Let's hear what he has first. Nice, Morris. Thanks, Morris, but no thank you. We're gonna go for a girl power today. So we're gonna go to Darcy. It's nice for the girls to see female role models and see the girls can play drums just like boys can. Nice, Darcy. Okay, so I can stop it and add different parts of the drum kit, which are colored in yellow. And then by clicking on the different sliders, I can make the track more or less complex. Using fills is always fun. And controlling how loud complex, soft, or simple. I want my pre-recorded drums to be, I can have full control of the sound overall. There's different presets as well, just here, which I can click on and select a nice atmosphere kind of a drum set, like heart to heart, going romantic today. And by clicking the the triangle, the play sign, you can listen back to what Darcy has in store. By clicking on different parts of the drum kit, we can change the beat. You can have a play along to this. So you can audition different drummers and give full freedom to the children. Just like the drummer that they like and fits to their track. It's an awesome experience. And we don't have to record it because it automatically transferred into the track view. Switch to the track view, the third icon on the right, and you can see the rest. By clicking on the plus, you can have different instruments, or simply go back to save the track by clicking on the piece of paper with the corner that's shifted down, and we're going back to the GarageBand recent view. Okay, we are going to go into capturing and playing sounds. Now this is really fun way to use the sounds around us. We're going to start a new track. We're going to click here and we're going to use the sampler option, which is on the keyboards window. You have the smart piano, alchemy synth, and sampler. Okay, so we're going to click on this one. This one is a brilliant thing to use with younger children. I think it gives you so much freedom, and it also helps children to understand pitch. So I'm going to start recording, but obviously you're not going to see anything that's actually recorded. I can show you a pre-recorded sample that I had a little play with. So all you need to do is record a sound that around you. So it could be something like the birds singing, or you knocking on the door, or I don't know, any sound around us can be recorded. So I'm just gonna click start. Ooh, and it's not gonna record because I'm using the microphone. I'm just gonna show you a track that I pre-created for this purposes. Where are you, song? I'm sorry. Oh, here we go. Song number 8. So I pre-recorded myself knocking on the table. And all I had to do is press the record button, and then I had the sample. This was my original sample. You can have a listen to it. Now I explored my sample by making it short. It was far too long, so I can slide these slides and make the sample much shorter. And then by clicking on the keyboard, I can get the knock play with different pitch. It's the same sound, but now it's assigned to the keyboard pitch, and it just sounds funky. We can create, we can record it, so I've recorded it here. The metronome. It's this same sound, but now it has pitch. And by double clicking, you can even show the children what's going on here. You can see that the sounds are recording at different levels, so that indicates the pitch. So you can use this simple way into adding sounds from around you into a track that's with digital instruments, and then mix them together. And it just adds another option. We could easily use this in our forest school, where we have the sounds of the birds singing, and add it to a track and create a romantic type of track. So this was it. This is the sampler. Easy to use. You can experiment with the different options and just listen back and decide if you like it or dislike it, if you want to keep it or delete it. It's a fun thing to use, very simple. Right, we're going to click back and we're going to go into number 6, which is edit and record tracks. Edit a recording. So I've had a Latin track that I created with some of my fives yesterday. So all we've done is record different musical instruments. I'm just going to play it for you. You can have a listen. Right, so I am overall very happy with this track, but I'm going to select different instruments and I'm going to control their volume and other settings that I have an option to. So by clicking on the instruments, you select them and you can manipulate them. So I'm just going to start with the last on the bottom. And once I have selected the instrument, it's highlighted. You can see it in green rather than the other blue. And then by putting my finger on the track and sliding it up and down alongside the bar indicator, I can decide where I want this track to start. So I wanted to start on bar number 2. I have slid it, got it to bar number 2, and then the drums are going to start now on bar number 2. Perfect. Right, next thing we can do is we can split tracks. As you can see, I've used the Latin de Conga 01, and it has different sections that are repeated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the track by clicking on the icon of the instruments, and I'm going to double tap it so I get the different options such as cut, copy, delete, trim, split, rename, and settings. So we're going to select the split option, and then we get this little scissors, and we can select a part of the track that we want to separate from one another and just roll down, just pull down the scissors. Now I have 2 tracks, this track and this track, and I can do different things with them. If I'm happy with the first one but I'm not happy with the second one, I can make it shorter. I can slide it from a different starting point. I can delete it completely by double tapping on it and getting rid of it. So we can delete the track, or we can loop it, cut it, copy it, etc. If you're recording children playing like live tracks, you can rename the tracks and give them names that you like. For example, Annie. And I know that Annie played this track because it has her name. And then I can start it here. Okay, cool. Next thing that we can do is to edit the settings. Now, I'm pretty happy with all this that's happening in my track, but I want a certain instrument to lead or to be louder than the others. I'm going to manipulate the sound or the volume of the instruments by selecting the track that I like, by clicking on it, and then going into the mixer, the little mixers. So here, we're going to click on the mixers, and then it opens a side menu on the left-hand side with the different track settings. You can control the volume of the track, which I found particularly helpful. You can control the track pan. That means that if you're listening with headphones, the sound is going to come from a different headphone, right to left or left to right. It's usually preset on the middle, so you can hear it equally from both sides. If I like this track, but I want to hear how the other track sounds together, I can click on the mute. So my track, the selected track, is going to be gray, and the rest of the tracks are going to be playing. So I can press the play button and hear everything without the track that I selected. I enjoy doing this with the children to show them how music is basically functioning by adding different layers on top of each other, different structure. And it's particularly helpful when you're creating a multi-track project when you have lots and lots of instruments. Some of them work together well, some of them don't. So by muting different instruments and listening to the mix separately, you can make the right choices. And I think with GarageBand, there is no right and wrong. It's about making the choices. And I make a point of celebrating any type of a project, just because I think it's so brave to go out there and be creative and expose yourself. By selecting the compressor option, just going back into editing now, under the plugins and EQ, you have the compressor. You're going to have a smoother transitions between the louder sounds and the softer sounds. And by selecting treble or bass sounds, you can give it a little bit more bass. Who doesn't like that? And make it a bit more bassy. The master effects, I usually don't use them on the instruments, to be fair. I use them a lot with vocal tracks because it's nice echoey and reverb options there, but why not? Just going for it today. Once I'm ready with this, what I'm done, I'm just gonna put down the track volume. I'm gonna mute, go back and listen by pressing the play button. My track is still there, but now the other tracks are leading in the mix. So it's a nice empowering thing to do. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is, guys, we're gonna be super outside the box and we're gonna create a rock track together using the smart preset instruments. I think we're gonna all enjoy that. By clicking on the piece of paper or the project view, we go into GarageBand Recents and we're gonna start a completely new track by clicking the plus sign on the right hand side top corner. And we are going to start like absolute pros by using the guitars, because we're going rock and roll. Okay, so we are going to click on the smart guitar. And as you can see, currently we come into this view, which is the guitar instrument view. This shows the selections of chords that you can use. And we're going to write a rock piece, so we need a rock guitar. We are going to select the hard rock guitar, because that's how we roll these days. You now open the guitar view with the guitar options, and there is a square just by this little dial on the left hand side middle of your screen, which says chords and notes. If you click on the chords, you're given the chords options. If you click on the notes, you are given a guitar fret where we can actually improvise, but I'm gonna do this towards the end. So now we're just gonna start with the chords, and we're gonna turn the dial into 4. So by switching the dial, we're just gonna trigger a function on GarageBand to fill in more notes that we're actually playing. It's quite good. It just gives you so much richer sound without really doing too much. So we are going to record some guitars, and to record them, you have to tap on the red button, you know that already, which is on the top, and then I will give you 4 beats before it starts recording. And then we're gonna play G for 8 counts, E minor if you are doing it at the simultaneous time. So G, E minor for 4, and then C for 4. Okay, and we're gonna do it a couple of times. Okay, so I'm just gonna record it. Oh, sorry, I wasn't ready, GarageBand. Right, we're gonna try again. So I'm gonna press record, and here we go. Okay, here we go. I don't need the metronome anymore. Right, here we go. We have the hard rock guitars. I hope you guys enjoy them. We're gonna add a little bit more things into it. So we're gonna add a bass track. So we're gonna click on the plus sign here. And by clicking there, it gives you again the instruments options. And I'm gonna go bass. Again, I'm gonna click on smart bass. and it creates the bass track for me. I need to click on start again from the beginning. We're seeing again the chords, and we need to select a rock type of bass. I don't know if we're gonna have that, but we can try. So clicking on it, we can see P bass, pick bass, light bass, retro bass, sequence bass, etc. Oh, upright bass. If you're doing a jazz track, that would be awesome. We are going to keep the Liverpool sound, okay? So we're keeping the Liverpool bass. Thank you, bass. Save. Oh, cancel. Oh, it changed it for me. There we go. And what we're going to do next, we're going to, it's currently on the notes, so we can manually pick the strings, but I'm not great at that. I'm not a good bass player, so we're going to go back to chords. And this time we're going to turn the autoplay down into 2. And then we're going to record the bass by again pressing the red button on the top. And after 4 beats of intro click, we're going to press G for 8 counts, E minor for 4 counts, and C for 4. Here I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I made a mistake, guys. I pressed the wrong chord, but we can select, double click on this link and get rid of it. So we're gonna get delete the track, and we're gonna start again. Or if I was super clever, I could have selected just the part that I made the mistake by splitting it, then deleting the part and pre-recording there. But that's far too much effort for such a short track, so I'm just gonna do it quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Now we have the guitar and the smart bass, and the next thing you can add is the same similar way. Going back to the plus sign, we can add keyboard by clicking smart piano, and we can go into a rock organ because we're doing a rock sound. And then again, we can select the preset. This time I'm gonna select preset 3 on the autoplay option, and that's the pattern number 3. We're gonna select record, and we get this screen. So we're gonna do the same thing pretty much. We're gonna click on G for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, E minor 2, 3, 4, and the C for 4. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. E minor 3, 4, C 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we have all these tracks. We can listen to them. I'm sorry they're a bit off time because I don't have access to give them back, but I hope you like it. Yeah, we can add a drum beat to this, which is quite fun. I'm not gonna do it right now, but by clicking the track view, I can go and see all my tracks. So I have the guitar, the rock bass, and the rock organ, which I enjoy doing very much. And by selecting different tracks, I can control the volume from the complex editing tool, and I can make the tracks bigger or smaller, slide them up and down, start them from different points, and create a little bit of texture. I can double click on them, split them, edit them, or rename them. I can add a bit of a master effect from the side, and I can get rid of them or mute them, listen to them individually, which is a very powerful tool. And this is what we can do by selecting the smart instruments. Smart instruments are such an awesome way to empower our children to not be scared of harmony and melody. Now, if we had a little bit more time, I was going to show you how to add up a little bit of riff, which you can do easily by selecting the notes option. If you click here, going back and adding a hard rock guitar, but this time we're not going to select chords, but notes, and then we can improvise by showing the children the rock notes that they can use, and just teaching them about a style through creating a piece of music can be so powerful. Or teaching them about the style, learning about the history that goes with this style of music, for example, R&B music or gospel music, etc. So this was quite fun. I enjoyed. Hope you did too. Another fun way to access different styles of music and cultures is to use the live loops. So I'm going to click on the right hand side top corner and again create a track. This is the track view with the instruments. However, we're going to use the live loops. Is the very middle of your screen on the top. So you can see you have hip hop, have dubstep, R&B, house, chill, rock and roll, electro funk, Chinese modern if you're doing a Chinese New Year's tracks. And because they're preset, for example, the children can learn so much about them. They can learn about the different instruments which come with their pictures. We might not have access to these instruments because they're very specific, or we might not even seen a Chinese ensemble played, but by empowering them about the sounds of these instruments into a nice piece of music, this can help them in the long run massively to build interest about different cultures. So how do we work with this? Children love this, by the way. So we can just click on the pre-recorded sample loops and they play. Just tapping on the different ones. You can see the notes are in different times. Same way as the So what some children do sometimes, they click on too many at the same time, which is nice to get there. But to start off with, I just tell them that less is more, and to listen to the individual sounds to build a complex track and then unclick them and fade it out. If you want to play all of this chords, such a great thing to do, so accessible. Once they create their track, for example, you can ask them to create a Chinese inspired dance, a dragon dance, or watch a video with traditional dancing, create their own track and create their own dance, research the meaning behind it. And there's so many curriculum links you can make just by empowering them to press on little buttons, and hearing a massive wealth of sound is just the best thing. Sorry, I'm just blabbing around, but I do love music and how it makes people curious and empowers them to do so much more. You can again control the sound. If you like the gongs, let's get a little bit of less sound here. You can give them a bit more bass or treble and control the plugins and EQ, or give it a lot of echo. How would that sound? Oh, that's brilliant, and lots of reverb. Wow, sounds very, very interesting. But once I'm happy, I can again click on the red button and record my track. Here we go, we have our own track, and to see the individual instruments we can again click on the track view, which is on the very right hand side corner. Here we go, click on that and we can see the individual instruments. Oops. Sorry, I hope you're not dizzy. And here we go, we can see the original instruments. We can also see their names the Angel's Beauty Guzheng 01, or the strings instruments. So we have a combination between traditional Asian instruments and a string quartet. If I like this, but it starts on the wrong point, I can again slide it back and forward, use the master effects from here, or just get rid of it by double clicking and selecting delete. I can go back with the undo arrow, which is just like next to the effect arrow. Here, can undo it. Oh, made a mistake. I really like it. Let me go back, get it back. And here I have my original Chinese inspired track. This is it. I believe that even an earliest child can do this. I will ask the specialist in a minute if they agree with me. So once I'm happy with this, I can click back to the piece of paper that's on the left-hand side corner, which takes us back to the GarageBand recent view. And I'm just going to show you at the end how to share the victory of your amazing music making. Click on the track, and it gives the option to copy, duplicate, move, delete, tag, rename, and share. So I'm going to click on rename, and I'm going to call it super track. When I'm done, I click done. Again, double tapping or holding my finger down, sharing the track. This is the important part because I always say to the children, share the songs you create with me as songs. You can select the quality, which obviously is going to affect the size of the track, and you can see it with few bits per second. Don't share it as a ringtone, or save it to iPads if you want to have it, but don't share it as a ringtone, I ask them, or share it as a project, because sometimes, unfortunately, you have different versions of GarageBand. I can't open certain tracks. Another way to share the tracks is by screen recording them and celebrate the success of the children and your success, or even if you didn't do that well and somebody else in your class has absolutely been amazing. It's very good to learn from the children. They're usually so confident. This is it. That's the basic functions of GarageBand. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a good play with this because it's so fun. So fun.
Thank you, Annie. You've done an amazing job. Some really inspiring things there. And I think the cross-curricular links is something we can think about now in your discussion. So how we can use GarageBand to engage learners in our classroom. Yes, we can use GarageBand for music, but I know that you've used GarageBand to support other subjects as well. Have you got any examples?
Yeah, I usually, for example, I'm just going to give you a couple of examples. In year 3, I created a project linked to the book they were reading and shared reading, which was How to Train Our Dragon. The children had to find pictures of their chosen dragons, which they were very familiar with. I didn't know any names to start off with, but now I know my dragons very well. And they had to use the drawing tool on their iPad and give them different qualities that they were very familiar with, for example, kindness or bravery. And then we explored different pieces of music that famous composers have created to represent this kind of qualities, and they had to reproduce that by using the smart instruments. The most empowering example came from a child that's playing the cello. So she used this opportunity to use the smart strings and create a beautiful piece of music using the strings and instruments she can play to represent her chosen dragon. In the end, we end up with a sharing discussion where the children presented their pieces of music, and I had the pictures of the dragons on the board, and the class had to guess which dragon they represented through their music, through the elements of music they used and the instruments they used, and it was great fun. They took so much out of it, not only how to press different buttons, but because it was linked to something I really enjoyed, such as having the choice to select and use different instruments. And it wasn't that much about the quality of music for me. It was more about the ability to select different functions. However, the quality of the music that I created was so high that it almost changed the objective, because they took on the task so well.
Yeah, brilliant. I think it's, you know, it's worth remembering that GarageBand is amazing to support that music tool, but it is cross-curricular as well. So as Annie just said, she used it to support literacy and the book How to Train Your Dragon. It's a great narration tool and to play around with voices, to create different interviews between different characters. So it has far-reaching implications with creativity.